Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily evening news with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Zimbabwean authorities react to U.S. accusations of stirring anti-racism protests following George Floyd's murder. Places of worship are free to reopen as of this Tuesday in Nigeria as part of the easing of coronavirus restrictions. Victims of the 2010 Ivorian crisis oppose former President Laurent Gbagbo's return home after his conditional release. Our top story today: in Zimbabwe, the authorities summoned the United States ambassador to Harare on Monday to denounce comments made by Washington accusing the Zimbabwean government of trying to take advantage of protests against racism and police brutality in America following the death of African-American George Floyd. In an interview with ABC News last Sunday, President Donald Trump's national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, named Zimbabwe among, quote, foreign adversaries, unquote, that he said are trying to take advantage of the riots in America by, quote, sowing discord, unquote. Zimbabwe's Foreign Minister Sibusiso Moyo quickly dismissed as completely false and unfounded Mr. O'Brien's claims, stating that his country, quote, takes no pleasure in the scenes of violence and hatred that have occurred in several American cities, unquote. U.S. Ambassador Brian Nichols was therefore summoned to explain Mr. O'Brien's remarks. On the health front, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the authorities reported on Monday a new Ebola outbreak in the northwest of the country, just weeks before it hoped to announce the end of another epidemic in the east.
Our country is still facing another outbreak of the Ebola virus in the Equator province. This is the 11th epidemic in our country. Indeed, since yesterday we've been in contact with our services in Mbandaka. There is a hemorrhagic disease that has broken out there, and according to our services, the clinical sign already confirmed that this disease is Ebola. Since 31st May 2020, 8 cases of hemorrhagic fever, including 2 live positives, 2 suspected cases, 1 positive death, and 3 probable deaths have been reported in the town of Mbandaka Health Zone.
Health authorities of the Equator province, which had been hit by an Ebola outbreak between May and July 2018, know by experience how to respond to the epidemic and have already started the response in the area since last Sunday, according to the health minister.
We are going to send them the vaccine very quickly, and also medicine so that they can already start vaccinating our compatriots and treating people who are suffering from this disease. We urge you not to give into panic because the Ministry of Health has taken all the necessary measures to respond effectively to this 11th epidemic to the Ebola virus.
The appearance of the new Ebola epidemic in Mbandaka, a transport hub on the Congo River, comes at an added blow as the authorities are also combating the coronavirus pandemic. In Nigeria, the government decreed on Monday the reopening of churches and mosques as of this Tuesday as part of the easing of restrictions put in place to limit the spread of the coronavirus. However, the faithful will have to observe safety measures during religious gatherings, such as mask wearing or social distancing. As the authorities warn, the battle against COVID-19 is not yet over, after recording over 10,000 cases of contamination for a population of nearly 200 million inhabitants. Guidelines will be issued for how religious services could be relaunched. The authorities also cut back a nationwide curfew to now run from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and lifted a total lockdown in Kano State. Other restrictions remain in place. In South Africa, the reopening of schools that was scheduled for Monday will not take place until the 8th of June. The South African Minister of Education, Angie Motshega, apologized on Monday for the confusion caused by the last-minute postponement of the official resumption date for many schools of the country. The Education Department announced on Sunday that the extra week would serve to better prepare facilities and train staff amid the coronavirus pandemic. The Education Minister explained that schools were at different levels of readiness in terms of safety for the coronavirus. Only the Western Cape province deemed schools prepared enough to reopen on Monday as planned. However, local residents, including COVID-19 survivors, are worried that reopening schools too soon may put their children at risk. They decided to protest in front of the Bergville Primary School in Cape Town on Monday morning, demanding that educational institutions should not reopen too quickly in their department as well.
The headaches I had were intense. I had to take pain medication in the morning and again in the afternoon. It wasn't a nice experience. I also don't think it will be nice for children to experience something like this. The back pain was also there, so it won't be nice for a child if it already hurts as an adult. It won't be nice for a child to experience it.
But yes, we also need the schools to open, but it cannot open now, even if it means that our children have to repeat a grade. Even if it means that a special curriculum has to be worked out for our grade 12s and for our grade 7s. The Department of Education should look into those things.
President Cyril Ramaphosa acknowledged parents' concerns on Monday, emphasizing that teachers, parents and governing bodies had agreed not to reopen schools, quote, until all necessary precautions, unquote, are in place. In Tanzania, as previously announced by President John Magufuli, universities and high schools reopened on Monday.
The University of Dar es Salaam has reopened with effect from today, and we have started classes because we have made adequate arrangements to ensure that we will conduct our activities while complying with measures prescribed for preventing the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
While some students are glad to resume classes, others urge the government to follow up and ensure that safety measures against coronavirus are being respected on campus.
I'm very excited because it is after a long time of lockdown that we did not even attend classes, and despite of their diseases we cannot pursue on lockdown issues. We need to proceed with our education. We need to reach our goals on time.
Despite our government opening high schools and universities, I still urge it to make sure that they do a close follow-up with all universities to make sure both students and the administration are respecting COVID-19 prevention measures to be able to win this battle against this virus.
The reopening of universities comes despite the controversy over the lack of transparency on the spread of coronavirus in the country after the government decided to stop publishing virus data in April. Just like Tanzania, Cameroon also reopened its schools and universities on Monday despite concerns due to the coronavirus pandemic. Classes resumed after a 2-month suspension and safety measures were installed for the protection of students, such as temperature taking, mandatory hand washing or mask wearing.
The school provided the masks for all the students. We have the displaced people who can't afford it. But even if they are not displaced, some of them still can't afford it. So this morning at the entrance, we give the masks to all the students. Each teacher will also receive a mask. We also have hand sanitizer.
However, many parents fear the reopening of schools could be a source of transmission of the virus, as the number of cases of coronavirus contamination is soaring in the country.
It is against the law to willfully infect others. That is what is being done. Some people deliberately infect others, and when children have to go back to school, it is extremely important that parents and communities be made aware.
It's a bit disturbing seeing the evolution of this pandemic. It would be better to take into account a bit of time to let the students go back to classes. If these children get the disease, even if they are only healthy carriers, the parents at home will get the disease and they will die of coronavirus. Even if the children don't get it, but if at school it is not respected, that's the worst that can happen. I am in favor of going back to school, but strict drastic measures must be taken at the school level to prevent the spread of the disease.
With about 25 million inhabitants, Cameroon has officially registered 6,397 cases of contamination, including 3,629 recoveries and 199 fatalities since the beginning of the pandemic. On the political front in Ivory Coast, victims of the post-electoral crisis of 2010-2011 that killed 3,000 people firmly objected on Monday the return of former President Laurent Gbagbo to Ivory Coast after the easing of his conditional release by the International Criminal Court. In execution of the court's decision of the 28th of May, the former leader can leave Belgium, where he has been under house arrest following his acquittal last year of charges of crimes against humanity, and is free to travel on the condition that the country is going to agrees to receive him. However, now that the victims oppose the designation of the state of Ivory Coast to welcome Laurent Gbagbo, as well as his former deputy Charles Blé Goudé on its soil, an immediate return to the country remains uncertain. Finally, in Britain, Liverpool players showed their solidarity to the African-American community in the United States following the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis by taking a knee around the center circle at Anfield on Monday. Reds players, including Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, then posted the picture on social media with the words "Unity is strength," followed by the hashtag Black Lives Matter. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.